Welcome to Cordkillers Reckoning. The world of entertainment is turned upside down, and we are just trying to find out, how are we going to watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want? I'm Tom Merritt. Brian, where's the good stuff?
Oh my goodness, the good stuff is right now happening because you're back from CES. Tom, I am certain you saw miracles abounding left and right, the likes of which I could not possibly imagine. What did CES offer for the modern cord killer?
TV.
Yeah, don't we already have a bunch of those?
TV you can stick on the wall.
Wait, I thought we already had those too.
No, you don't have to like screw it in the wall. You literally just pick it up. It's got a battery in it, and then it adheres by static adhesion to the wall.
Oh my God. I thought I was trying to tee up a gag, but that actually sounds dope.
I know, it's pretty great. It's called the Displace TV. They actually showed it off at CES last year, and their spin this year was that they have one that you can add any TV to, right? So last year it was the TV you could do that with. This year it's the mount basically with a battery in it, and you could put your own TV on it. Mount your TV to the mount, and then the mount sticks to the wall.
Oh. So you still have to provide a TV. Okay. All right. Well,
with the new one, or you could buy their TV.
Yeah.
That's, now they have both country and Western.
Yeah.
Why is this making you less excited? It's like you get the choice. You can add it to your own TV or just buy theirs.
I mean, if you want me to be honest, I was feigning disappointment so that we could move into the supply run.
Well, then I say we dispense with this pretense and go to the supply run.
Supply run, supply run, supply run.
Stranger Things 5 has become Netflix's 8th most popular English language series. And the story I prepared had it 9th, but I think it moved up one since I put that in there. More than 100 million views. So popular, it spawned a conspiracy theory. Conformity Gate. Have you heard of Conformity Gate, Brian?
I have, and this is me just on the outside. I'm guessing the ending was so bad that people had they decided it couldn't be. They're like, this has to be a dream. This can't be how it ends.
So it's not as bad as that. There is a particular scene that most of Conformity Gate formed around, where you have several of the characters who are now off into the world, right? We've flashed forward. They've gone off to college and they're doing their own things, but they've all come back together again and are catching up on their lives. And it's a little too perfect for some people's tastes. They're like, this just seems like everything you'd expect. And Stranger Things isn't about everything you'd expect. So I bet it's Vecna giving them an illusion where they think they've gotten what they want, but there's going to be another shoe drop. And in fact, as online conspiracy theories go, they formed a whole lore that in January there would be a secret 9th episode, and that would actually reveal the real ending to Stranger Things. And then Netflix posted on its profile on X, on the day everyone expected the secret episode to drop, all episodes of Stranger Things are now playing.
Okay. So,
but they didn't say they wouldn't add one in the future.
I have a 1-for-1 comp of how I lived this exact experience. Do you remember Toy Story 3? Do you remember the plot of that one?
No, which one was 3?
It's where they go to a retirement village that turns out to be an evil concentration camp. And
yes, okay, yeah, that's 3. Okay, got it.
So there's one moment where there's the all is lost stuff, and all the toys are going into the fiery pit, and then out of nowhere this claw saves them, and it's like it really stretches credulity at that point. And I thought, I'll bet they're doing the ending like the movie Brazil, where all of this is a flash fantasy of everything turning out really great right as they melt. And I sold it hard for like 30 minutes on NSFW show back in the day. And this is back when everybody was on Twitter. Unfortunately, the director, somebody hit up the director, explained my whole theory, and he says, that's cute, but no. And I was like, oh man.
No.
So trust me, all you Stranger Things fans out there, I feel you. I've been there.
Well, to make up for the fact that Conformity Gate isn't real, let me turn you on to this Vecna and Demigorgon plushie from Miniso.
That's amazing. Were those at CES or something?
No, these were just at Miniso. And I saw them, didn't buy them. And then the next time I went, they still had them. And I'm like, who doesn't want like a soft plushy Demigorgon with huge pointy teeth?
Super adorable.
Yeah. Or Vecna with like real tentacles.
Yeah.
Real felt tentacles.
You can smell the trauma from here.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, if, however, you would like more Stranger Things, too bad. You're not getting more Stranger Things, but the Duffer Brothers recently teased a future spinoff to Deadline saying, we've said this before, the spinoff idea we have, it is early days, but is an entirely new mythology. So it's connected, and it is going to answer some questions that people have. And there's some lingering questions that weren't answered in the finale that will be answered in the spinoff. But at the end of the day, it's got its own story and its own mythology. That's very confusing to me because it sounds like they're saying this is a whole new thing, but also we're totally tying it to this old thing and we're going to answer your question.
Well, it sounds to me, and this probably takes too many words to explain in a simple press release, but the way I picture these things are basically the story exists as a fractal, whether you're following the story of an individual character or of the group of characters or of the town or of the world. And my guess is they're carving out the Stranger Things characters and situations and stuff, but there's still a lot of interesting story in that world, peripheral, and maybe there's a thread or two that connects them or whatever. So you do want to imply that there's more of the story, but if you mean, are we going to see that character again? If I were them, I would not be in the business of making any specific promises.
Yeah. One translation could be, no, we can't afford to pay Millie Bobby Brown or pretty much anyone else from this cast anymore.
I didn't want to jump straight to that. It's like, we're very proud. We made them very famous stars. Here's the thing about very famous stars. They cost too much for you.
Did you hear that the guy who plays Steve Harrington, his name is Joe, is like, he's making the top 100 charts on all the streaming services because he's a DJ.
That's great.
He has a song that everybody has been spinning after the end of Stranger Things. Also, I thought we'd throw in this email from Tyler, who had a unique perspective on the rollout of season 5 of Stranger Things. Tyler wrote, for context, I have the ad-free Netflix, but over the break, we watched episodes 6 and 7 at my parents' house, and they have the ad-supported tier of Netflix. I was shocked when I saw the Stranger Things Tide ads during the ad breaks. The entire family loved the ads. It was practically bonus content, and we didn't mind having the ad breaks at all. Just wanted to share our perspective. Also worth noting, Netflix releasing the first 4 episodes near Thanksgiving, then the next 3 during winter break, and the final one at New Year's was amazing. Best of both worlds. Binge lovers got to scratch that itch, and the buzz of Stranger Things was kept up for an entire month. My kids started the show around Halloween and caught up to my wife and I. We were able to watch the final season together over the winter break. Thanks for everything you do.
Yeah, on a event level so big as this, boy, does your game changes. You want a generally beloved ending, but that's a lot of people to please, including people who are told a month beforehand. I mean, let's grade it on the scale of other true comps. Like, for example, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I'm not going to say, let's just say I think it checked fewer of the boxes. It had generally a less beloved ending, although it did do a great job of being approachable so that everybody could catch up to enjoy the ending finale at the exact same time. Similar to Breaking Bad, I think in general that one had a finale that was more beloved, but also was approachable to catch up. It was kind of patient zero for the binge to catch up experience. Yeah.
I feel like endings, I am never surprised when someone tells me I hated the ending of that series, whatever it is. They are very hard to get right, and people's expectations are always larger than what they can deliver.
Right.
And so I'm usually easier on endings because I'm like, yeah, everybody always hates the ending. You're not special for ending. Sometimes people are like, well, I am the person who hated that ending. I'm like, yeah, you're everyone.
You're that guy.
I don't feel
there's always that
exactly.
guy.
I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I'm just like, it's not unique to hate the ending. So I think it's it is special when people love the ending, which is why I can't tell what the general sentiment is here with the conspiracy theory. It feels like people are like, we were so close to loving the ending, but that one scene just kind of bugged us a little. Well, so if you could just change that one scene, then we'd be great with it.
And I don't know what that one scene is, but the general sentiment, as Justin Robert Young brought up on our comedy show, Great Night, he mentioned that very clearly the ending, to his eyes, looked to be an homage to the nice and neat way movies would wrap up in the 1980s. And
Definitely,
we have a whole generation of kids where it's like, no, there's always another layer, a twist, a little bit of hidden detached irony or something. And instead it was just a classic just so ending.
Also, going back to Tyler's email, I did not see those ads during Stranger Things, but they did show during the football game that Netflix had, because everybody saw the ads during the football game. And I too was pleased. I'm like, oh, if I'm going to be forced to watch an ad on my ad-free tier because it's a football game, these aren't bad. These are like promos for Stranger Things. Granted, I don't know that it's always going to work. Because if you're watching, I don't know, Red Notice, and they're probably not going to have a bunch of Red Notice ads these days, right? If you're watching library material. So your ads aren't always going to fit in so perfectly. But when you can do that, I think that's super smart, because they were fun. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I was watching an ad just now because they were so well done. It's a lot of effort, but it works.
I'll be curious now that the expense bar is just bottomed out. Now you could press an AI button to, have all of these licensed characters and their likeness. And then somewhere a script manager gets the director's approval. And suddenly there's a scene that nobody showed up to shoot, in which Tide is a pivotal thing. We are headed into some very interesting times.
It frees you up to do the high effort conceptual stuff that you might not have been able to execute on before. So with the Tide thing, it's basically Nancy is doing the laundry, and there's a lot of Stranger Things elements to it, right? That are specific, but it's period, right? She's in the 80s using Tide. You obviously have to have a heritage brand that doesn't look out of place for that to work. And Tide is one of those, but yeah, it might be something where you're like, it's a great idea, but it'd be too hard to pull off. Although, frankly, I think this was practical effects. I don't think they used.
Sure. As per the usual, Brian is projecting, instantly to way too far in the future.
Also, I really like Tyler's point about the binging thing. I don't think that's going to work for everything, but when you gave me 3, 4, and 3, it felt like you could either watch it every week, watch it on your own pace, or just binge everyone as soon as they came out. And it worked. It worked and kept that water cooler buzz going.
Yeah.
We need to do that. We need to keep the water cooler buzz going around patreon.com/Cordkillers, Brian. How do we do that?
Oh, man. Well, there was a time that the best way to do that was for you or I to say something cancelable. But luckily, we don't live in those age anymore. Now, what we do is we say, hey, guys, take a moment, reflect on yourself. Have you gotten value out of the past, 17 years of this program? What do you say you become an official boss? That's right. We call you guys bosses. Why? Because you're literally the boss of us. You write us a check. We have to do what you say. We take your feedback into account. We read all your emails at cordkillers@gmail.com. And you get the perks of being a boss. You get your own RSS feed. You get early access to the full experience, exclusive access to the After Talk segment, and most of all, the smug satisfaction of knowing you are square with the universe. Head on over to patreon.com/Cordkillers and be a boss. Boss.
Yeah. That's the bossiest thing you can do.
Oh, and then talk about it at the water cooler.
Oh, right. Bringing it all around.
Yeah.
Now we can go to the search party. So it seems like we're getting one of these each week. Latest Avengers Doomsday teaser features the Fantastic Four and Winston Dukes M'Baku as the King of Wakanda. Of course, Avengers Doomsday coming December 18th, 2026. There you go, Brian. We're on pace.
Now, hold on. Did you watch this teaser?
I did.
And you're going to gloss over the fact that we got a surprise Ben Grimm?
Was that a surprise Ben Grimm?
When the Thing showed up and said howdy to the Wakandans?
Oh, you mean the fact that those two were in the same space?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Gotcha.
Well, and because that ends up feeling a bit like, oh wait, maybe we're on Battle Planet.
Those two doing?
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
maybe
Yeah.
this is almost a scene from the movie. Also, it's a little bit of a scathing indictment.
Yeah, that's what I would expect from Avengers Doomsday is characters I haven't seen come together before come together.
But I think this is the first one where we see different franchises coming together.
That's right. I should give that more credit because I was a little like, okay, so we're like just gonna go back and be like, hey, you guys miss Captain America? Well, guess what? He's still around. He's got a kid now. This felt more forward looking of like, here's something you haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's also kind of an indictment. You know, obviously the Black Panther franchise is in a tough spot, having lost its lead. And so the Wakandan as an entity probably don't have the same nostalgic punch. So it makes sense that it would be a team up. And I kind of like that. I guess it's two teams, right? It's the Wakandans and one of the elements of the Fantastic Four. Also, if you read the Secret Wars series, there is a neat aspect to it. When they go to Battle Planet, Ben Grimm as the Thing gets a new power that he didn't have before, the ability to revert to a human form on command, which of course is the one thing he wants in the entire universe. And so in the Secret Wars, after the battles are all over, he chooses to not go back home, but instead he gets his own spinoff series. Look, I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about this, man. This is I clearly
that is going to be an element of this, right?
Yeah.
Whether they play it out exactly the same way or not. So that's pretty fun. Netflix has approved Black Mirror for an 8th season, which made me realize I should finish the 7th season, Brian.
I don't know why I would have thought they were done with everything. I guess the news, so much of the news being about the closing down of Bandersnatch and all that stuff, I guess I just figured Black Mirror was kind of played out. But of course, there are good, terrible, twisted tales.
Yeah, I feel like Charlie Brooker is looking at it as... and he kind of said this in the interview with Deadline, as reality catches up with my concepts, I keep thinking of new things that haven't happened yet to scare you with. And so as long as Charlie Brooker has ideas that are ahead of the game, I think he's going to keep making seasons, and he's not on a schedule. He's like, when I have enough stories, then we'll put out a season. And I think that's what's happening here.
Yeah. And I think
it's not that I didn't like Black Mirror. I just forgot. I forgot to go back and finish it. Maybe it's because it's an anthology series.
Also, I think it had the problem, Tom, of at some point it stopped being spooky ghost stories and instead just became the news 5 years ahead of schedule. Like, yeah, right. Everything keeps coming true.
If 5 years in some cases. So in one of the first effects of Versant spinning out of Comcast, E! Is no longer required to give its shows to Peacock. When they were all one happy company, E! Had an in-house deal to give its shows to Peacock, but that no longer holds. So it has sold the rights to all seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians to Disney, which will put them on Hulu right next to the new Kardashians that Disney makes starting February 17th.
Yeah, that all feels like a good match. Where are we at on Peacock? If we're playing our new segment, Cockwatch, what do we think the trend is?
It has enough sports. It has the Olympics. It's occasionally got the Super Bowl. It's got enough news with NBC News that I think it's going to hold on. I'm curious what Comcast is going to do to beef it up. It's going to take either it takes patience, which companies like Comcast don't usually have, or an acquisition. And if you remember, Comcast was the third bidder in the Paramount Netflix triangle bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. We are still waiting to see if Paramount can pull off a coup and steal Warner Brothers Discovery away from Netflix, because Netflix has the accepted bid, but Paramount continues to go straight to shareholders, so maybe they'll be able to get it. Comcast is not part of that anymore, though. So what else could Comcast buy? Well, they're probably going to wait for this to shake out before they decide to go after anything. Is my guess, but they're going to have to go after something. And if Paramount doesn't get Warner, Comcast might try to buy Paramount. I don't think David Ellison's going to like that. But there could be something going on there, or they might just try to acquire a bunch of smaller, Lionsgate sized entities out there, but I feel like they're going to have to acquire their way to audience. That's what Comcast did to me. When I worked at Tech TV, they're like, hey, our little G4 network isn't getting enough audience. Let's acquire Tech TV so we can add that audience to G4.
Yeah. So does that make it just kind of a pawn in this game or possibly a kingmaker?
I think it's a bishop. It's a knight. It's a knight. It's got some moves, but
it is well positioned to do some tricky and surprising moves as well. Yeah. Like partly because in some ways it has nothing to lose, but also because it has real value.
Peacock's in what you would call the mushy middle, right? They are not big like Disney Plus, Netflix. But they're not tiny. They're bigger than Paramount. They're bigger than HBO Max.
Well, and the mushy middle, I think on top of that, not just in terms of size, but also in terms of what is it? Is it a sportsy place? Is it a newsy place? Is it a content place? It's just a miniature, NBC-ish.
Yeah, I said they're bigger than HBO Max, and I just wanted to double check. Yes. Right now, Peacock is 1.9% of Nielsen viewership, right in front of the Warner Brothers Discovery, which combines HBO Max with that. But they are behind Paramount, so they're actually at equal to Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery. I shouldn't say they're bigger. They definitely have more firepower behind them. So I feel like team ups.
You feel like they're the Ben Grimm of this whole story.
Yes, exactly. I was just thinking, what if Paramount actually does pull it off, gets the shareholders to accept its offer, buys Warner Brothers Discovery, and then Comcast buys both of them? HBO Max just approved The Pit for a third season. The premiere of season 2 happened just 5 days ago. So right in front of the premiere of season 2 of The Pit, there's going to be a third season. So if you're a fan of The Pit, don't worry. You're going to get at least 3 seasons.
Have you given a try to The Pit?
No.
Yeah.
Have you?
I've heard enough good things that it's now on the periphery. Like I'm just waiting for somebody to nudge.
Oh, it's definitely in that land of like, I want to watch that someday when I have more time than I have right now.
Yeah.
Deadline reports that Château de la Messardière in Saint-Tropez has been set as the backdrop for the next season of The White Lotus. I assume once the season comes out, I will learn how to properly pronounce that. But it's not a 4 seasons. That's the key here. 4 seasons property. There is a 4 seasons property in Saint-Tropez. So it could play a part because they have used multiple hotels in the past, but they will not set it at the 4 seasons.
Yeah, I feel like that's more a move of just like, hey man, we're not your free publicity engine. We're not going to do all that. All the time.
No, they were paid. They were paid. That was a paid deal with the 4 seasons that ran out after last season.
Well, then never mind.
And they're like,
I'm going to guess
not continuing to pay anymore. So we're going to pick whoever we want.
Well, in that case, then we get to that kind of face off like with sports channels and cable providers where it's like, which one of us should be paying the other here?
Yeah. It sounds like they might be on good terms with 4 seasons. They're just like, yeah, we're not going to use you alone, but we might still use you for some things. So I don't think it's bad blood. AMC gave a preview of its Silicon Valley show called The Audacity, created by Jonathan Glatzer, a TV writer and producer for shows like Succession or Better Call Saul or Bloodline. Audacity will focus on how men and women of Silicon Valley shaped the world we live in today. All the people and company names will be fictional. The show premieres Sunday, April 12th on AMC and AMC Plus. I found this significant, Brian, because it wasn't that long ago that we had Silicon Valley, which was a funny look at Silicon Valley. How crazy are these people? And named names. They had fictional names for the main companies, but Google and Netflix and TechCrunch and all of those were part of this. It feels like it is a sign of the times that AMC is like, we need to take a serious look at what's happening in Silicon Valley. And only by not naming names and being fictional can we tell you the real story.
I mean, if what we're looking at is roughly a comp to Succession, where nobody said out loud that this is the Murdoch family, but it's definitely the Murdoch family. Like if they can thread that needle, then this can be not just good, but very, very good.
Yeah, when you're like, oh, that's definitely Satya Nadella. Oh,
Right.
that's definitely Mark Zuckerberg. And you could do that with Succession. And they did some clever things where they're like, that's definitely a combination of two people, but the story is still pretty much the same as the real story. And it seems like Jonathan Gletzer, who was involved in Succession, might know how to do that. Do you remember Beef? The series Beef?
No, I saw that the news item was that we're getting a season 2, and I was like, today I learned there was a season 1.
So Beef was
wait a minute.
had Steven Yeun in it, and it was like just escalating.
This is the one that starts with like a road rage incident
with a parking incident, right? Yes, like I'm trying to back out of my parking spot, and it just spirals out of control. Beef season 2 is going to star Charles Melton and Kaylee Spaney as a young couple working at a country club who witness a fight between their boss and his wife. And the boss and the wife are played by Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan. Minari winner Yoo Jung-yoon and Parasite star Song Kang-ho round out the cast for the season, which will feature, and I quote, chess moves of favors and coercion in the elitist world of a country club and its Korean billionaire owner.
Okay. No, I think that so if the first one presented as, and again, I'm only speaking from the way the trailers looked as kind of, two blue collar goofs having at it, then this would be kind of that next level backstabbing machinations of the elite. But again, that's all just me projecting based on what you said.
Yeah, so Steve Yeun and Ali Wong was the co-star in Beef season 1. They are on board as EPs for this, but they're apparently not in it. And it does feel like we might be going, like you say, like there's the employees who witnessed the fight between their bosses, but then there's the owners. And Yoon, Yoon was the grandma in Minari that did all the gambling and stuff. She also is famous for doing a reality show called Yoon's Kitchen, where she would like just be in the back cooking. And people would not realize that there was this famous actress back there doing the cooking as she did like a pop-up restaurant. Fascinating. I thought she kind of retired after she won her Oscar, which I wouldn't have blamed her for, but apparently not. So I'm very much looking forward to Beef season 2. And finally, 81-year-old Al Michaels coming back to do Amazon Prime Video NFL for another season in 2026. Just notable. If I'm 81 years old, I hope I also will be able to return to do Amazon Prime Video or Cordkillers or whatever else it is. And it's not one of those things where I hear Al Michaels and I'm like, oh, I guess it's nice. You know what I mean? Like he's perfectly like still Al Michaels doing a great job.
Can I throw maybe just 90 seconds of Galaxy Brain, Brian, for a second? I've been thinking about how hard it is for me to watch content at 1x once I'm acclimated to hearing it at 1 1/4 speed, because, or in your case, the insanity of 3x speed or what have you. And it occurs to me that quite simply, when you get older, things still work. You're still you, just it literally slows down at all. And that tickled in my mind that there are many singers who have difficulty hitting particular high notes. And so there are systems in place where, Kenny Rogers gets to a certain note, he can't quite hit it. The system automatically hears it, brings in the backing vocal or what have you. And it occurs to me for commentary like this, if you said Al Michaels is the guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so picture Al Michaels is commenting on the game, and maybe he takes 30 seconds to make his point. But after that point is made, a little AI nip and tuck, tighten it up, remove the stammer, and you get a clean, young-sounding Al Michaels in real time on that actual game. Like, that seems like a cost-effective bridge that could be possible. Is that crazy? Is that too far out there?
Oh, it's way too far out there. Every NFL fan just cringed and said, "No, Brian, please don't do that." I do not want to hear younged Al Michaels.
Well, I mean, just like more having it, like more together. Because still his
probably
voice.
What's sticking in your brain is they did this for the Olympics, for the Summer Olympics.
I didn't know this.
Remember they did the generated recaps with Al Michaels' voice.
Oh, I didn't know
And
that was
everybody's
him.
like,
Okay.
Are they trying to make him sound younger than he was?
I didn't know I was
and people
stepping in
didn't.
an existing controversy. Whoops.
I mean, it's AI. Every step you take is an existing controversy. You're not going to avoid it. It's an interesting thought, though. Like, I wouldn't do it with Al Michaels, because the thing that you get out of Al Michaels, if you're Amazon, is like, hey, man, it's the actual Al Michaels still doing it, still kicking. Isn't that cool? But you could do it with somebody else where people don't really know how old they are, and you just want to kind of keep it under wraps.
Like a Marv Albert?
Lost a half step. Yeah. Well, I don't know about Marv Albert exactly, but yeah, that's sort of like the person that's a little under the radar. Actually, Joe Buck would be a great example. He does Monday Night Football on ESPN. You don't think of Joe Buck as being old, but he's getting up there. What if they just started doing it now before anybody knows? And you're like, man, yeah, Joe Buck, he's still got it. And,
and you could start with just tiny nudges. Let's say a 10-second take with a couple of stammers gets tightened to an 8-second take. And then that just becomes the natural flow.
Or you just give them all Adderall.
Ha!
All right, let's move on to the buried treasure.
Oh, I could press that button.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Most people want you to.
Buried treasure.
Buried treasure is the part of the show where Brian and I talk about something we're watching we think you might be interested in. Maybe you're already watching it. Maybe you don't. Maybe you heard about it. You want to know, like, is it worth it? And we're talking about Fallout. I am caught up on Fallout. Brian, how far are you?
I just finished episode 2 of season 2. How many episodes are there?
There have been 4.
Okay.
He says with a question mark, because I think I watched 4. Yep, I watched 4. So I was like, it was either 3 that felt like 4 or it was 4. It was actually 4.
This one I'm riding solo. Nobody in the family jumped up to watch it with me, so I'm not precious about it. If you want to speak spoilery, by the episode,
well, the audience is always precious about spoilers. So let me reassure everyone who just cringed. No, we won't be spoilery here. We might talk about it in an after talk in a spoilery way, but I find it to be enjoyable yet slow, which
it is luxurious, isn't it?
Which is a check you can cash when you had such a good season 1, right? I'm like, okay, I still like these characters. I'm still interested in what they're going to do. I guess you can take your time as long as you get somewhere. It's not something I felt about season 1, though. So it feels like an intentional change of pace.
You know what? That's interesting, because I also noticed the luxurious pacing, but I figured it wasn't so much riding on the interest from how good season 1 is, so much as I really felt like the visuals are just such a treat. I kind of don't mind hanging around a few seconds, in this
and why not
pastel
both,
land.
right? They may say like, hey, people will allow us to be more luxurious, especially if we entertain them with these visuals and build up to something that pays off down the road. There have been some fun and interesting twists and turns. I don't think you've gotten to what I think are the most fun parts, though. I remember episode 2, I hung up a little bit on. I was like, okay, I guess I'll watch 3. And then I took a little longer to watch 3, partly because it was the holidays and things got in the way. But when I watched it, I was like, oh, back half of 3 is starting to pick my interest back up. And episode 4 was actually had some really interesting things happen.
The one thing I'll vouch for in episode 2 was I kind of liked All Alone in the Vault, or whatever the facility is, watching Hank kind of be our protagonist. He's got a challenge to solve. The thing keeps exploding brains. The little adorable mice at the office setups, the little tiny miniature dioramas of the computer desk and stuff.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That sequence was one of those like, oh, they're just going to keep doing it till it gets funny again, aren't they?
Yep.
Kind of situation.
Although at some point you get bored enough that you just start appreciating the aquarium dioramas that it's in, because they're quite good.
What an excellent splatter.
Yeah.
Anything else on Fallout season 2 on Amazon Prime Video, if you're interested. I think if you enjoyed season 1, worth it. If you haven't started season 1, go watch season 1. Very much worth it.
Yeah, that one is a ringing endorsement. And as you guys have thoughts on Fallout, we're watching it right now real time. So why don't you hit us up, cordkillers@gmail.com.
Indeed. All right. Brian, it is time for you to dazzle me with something you do outside of this show. I know, crazy.
Oh my
Is there
gosh.
any life outside of Cordkillers? Yes, there is.
There sure is, man. We did something super, super fun. So Annalisa has taken over the entire running of operations of Scam Stuff. Scam Stuff, of course, that's gear for the Modern Rogue. Secretly, I don't want to make too big a deal about this, Tom, but all of Modern Rogue is a pyramid scheme. Because if you think about it, a pyramid is just an upside down sales funnel. So we provide amazing entertainment that makes your day better. We provide value with stuff like Cordkillers, and then I hope to trick you into buying some lockpicks, the incredible 110% money back guarantee magic kit, or our latest shenanigan. Annalisa is busy taking inventory. So we are doing a sale on everything that somebody whose name is not Annalisa ships, because we have partners in different facilities. So all of that stuff is on sale right now. Head on over to scamstuff.com. That's gear for the Modern Rogue.
I'm not going to lie. I got the magic kit for the nieces.
Tell me about it. How did it go?
Nora, the younger of the nieces, was fascinated with it. And did exactly what you would want. Was like, instructions, I'm just going to start doing things. What does this do? What are these cards? What is this wand? How does this work? Had a blast, was totally fascinated with it, and has promised that we adults were the problem in having a magic show be presented to us because we had too many other things going on. But we're going to her birthday in a couple of weeks, and she promised, she's like, I will be ready to astound you when you come. So I was very excited about that. My older niece, June, she was more fascinated with the fake $100 bill that I got from you.
That's great.
She's like, oh, I want that. I'm like, okay, yes, you can have one. Use responsibly, though. Don't ever try to pass it off as real. But yeah, go check it out, folks. Gear for the Modern Rogue. Let's move on to scan the horizon.
Send a scanning crew aboard.
Scanning the horizon!
So, Brian, the Golden Globes were Sunday.
Yes.
Netflix led the pack with 7 wins. Apple TV and HBO Max each had 3. Hulu took home 1. Apple TV had The Studio and Pluribus. HBO Max had The Pit and Hacks. Hulu got Dying for Sex. Netflix, what did Netflix win for? I forgot to put a note in here, and I don't want to get the name wrong, but Adolescence is the name of that one. Golden Globes notably also introduced Best Podcast, which Amy Poehler won for Good Hang with Amy Poehler. Golden Globes still, they're back. Remember they were gone for a year or two there, and now they're back.
So Hollywood invented podcasts, huh? This
no,
year.
Amy Poehler did. Yeah.
Interesting.
The Best Podcast was done by podcast pioneer Amy Poehler.
Oh, the best podcast. Better than Sword and Laser. Better than Cordkillers.
According to the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Better
Yes.
than Daily Tech News Show. Better than World's Greatest Con.
You can't argue with the Hollywood Foreign. Well, you could. Actually, we probably should argue with them about that.
Look,
but,
man,
you know,
I'm not
listen,
saying
man.
I'm brittle, but this is appropriation, and I'll not stand for it. Get your Hollywood out of my podcasts.
If they referred to it as best entertainment podcast, best Hollywood podcast, I'd be totally on board with it because that's what it was. And I would say Amy Poehler deserving of winning in that category. So
Yeah.
let's just let's push for narrowing it a little. You know, there's a guy named Joe who probably would have an issue with this. Guy named Mark might have an issue with this. So, you know, let's just say it.
Yeah.
A lot out there. Paramount sued Warner Brothers. And I know you all probably saw this headline and thinks, they're trying to sue them to stop the sale to Netflix. The suit is meant to help them stop that sale, but that's not what the suit is about. The suit is saying that Warner Brothers didn't properly disclose all the details of Netflix's offer to shareholders and is trying to compel them to reveal more details. So the suit is, you need to tell the shareholders all this stuff, because if they learn that stuff, then they are more likely to accept our offer. And you didn't properly disclose that stuff, so we're going to make a judge force you to disclose it. Paramount also plans to nominate directors to Warner Brothers board. This is part of a hostile takeover playbook, as far as I understand, where you try to get friendly shareholders to nominate a board. And if you can get somebody on there, then maybe you can get them to vote to change the acceptance from Netflix to Paramount. But the point is they're going all out. This isn't, a half-assed movement. Paramount is going to try everything to wrest Warner Brothers away from Netflix.
Man, at this point, all I want to do is speculate, but you tickled an idea earlier as you were describing, what Comcast's role is as Paramount is fighting to outbid. We're seeing a corporate romance in real time, and it's going to be a full year of popcorn. Buy stock in popcorn in 2026.
And we will be here to tell you when the fire heats up and explain things like this, where you might think, oh, does it mean this? It's like, man, no, it doesn't mean that, but it does mean this other interesting thing. Got some new redesigns at CES last week. Fire TV is getting a new redesign. Everything has a rounder look, a little more room between the items. Amazon says that the interface should work about 10 to 30% faster. The remote now works a little differently. The menu button brings up Fire TV's art and photos, games, and ambient experience features, and a long press of the home button will pull up a shortcut panel. And of course, the improved Smart Assistant, now available in the interface, easier to get to. This is coming to all users, rollout starting in February and extending to all supported devices throughout the spring. Also, the Fire TV app will now let you browse content, edit your watch list, and say, I want to play this on my TV, which is something the Roku app has done for a long time. So they're emulating that. The YouTube TV Live Guide redesign is now widely rolling out to the Android and iOS apps for YouTube TV. Not regular YouTube, YouTube TV, the one that's like cable TV. The previous live tab was just a list with the channel at the top of your screen showing a preview. Channel icons now move to the left side, and you can see what's next up by swiping to the left. This is similar to how it works on your television screen.
So
those are the redesigns.
I read one article saying that, or actually I got an email saying that I could upgrade to LX Plus.
Yep.
And I hesitated. My finger went to the go ahead and do it button, but then I thought, do I want to sign up for an argument with three of my daughters about Alexa about that program being different and blah, 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 AI. By the way, you've heard me say it before, no two people are having the same argument about AI. And so I actually didn't upgrade. Have you given it a try yet?
Yes, we got it when we bought a new Echo Studio, and it just applied to almost all our devices. Some of our older devices couldn't do it for whatever reason, and they still have the old voice. The new voice is pleasant, maybe a little better at things, but not honestly all that different in my experience.
Now, if I made the change, do you think the kids would figure it out instantly?
They would notice that the voice changed, and they would wonder why.
Okay.
And you could say, oh, it's an upgrade that Amazon pushed.
Yep. And that would be accurate.
And it would not be a lie. Yeah,
although
it is something.
Although there was a little bit of a poison pill of some kind of like, enjoy it, something, $20 down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Right now it's available for all Prime subscribers. And if you want to get it down the road without Prime, you're going to have to pay for it. It's unclear if they're going to make Prime subscribers pay to continue to get it in the future or not. Right now they don't. And it would be one of those things where like, what, are you going to roll me back to the old one if I don't pay? Or are you just going to add some features that don't work on if I don't pay? And I feel like that's more likely. Eventually they're going to upgrade you to that new voice though. And so whether it happens now or later, it's going to happen.
Okay. Well, then I can with a straight face claim that it's a trolley problem and whatever, it's coming.
Yeah. I think we're all used to just things changing with an upgrade. Like, oh, it looks different. Oh, it sounds different. It's kind of the same thing.
That's funny.
Fox Creator Studios will launch with an initial focus on food-centric personalities. The plan is to expand to other verticals and niches. To whip up a batch of fresh ideas, the unit has cut development deals with food vloggy type stars, Rosanna Pansino, Jolly, Sorted Food, Little Remy Food, Food Theorist, et cetera, et cetera. Fox kind of leaning into the creator ecosystem.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we've seen so many iterations of this, including, if I remember correctly, the part of the whole reason you ended up going to LA was because a certain moneyed entity was creating a creator studios for YouTube.
Yeah, that's right. Although that was literally a physical studio. I think Fox Creator Studios is more a metaphorical studio that they're just contracting with people to provide content.
Yeah, it's a place where money happens to encourage these independent creators.
At CES, I think this was at CES, Roku's founder and CEO said the company plans to bring its $3 a month streaming service that offers ad-free access to its library content off platform. So you don't have to have a Roku to get it, or even use the Roku app.
Yeah, I think.
In other words, it could come to Fire TV or Apple TV or Google TV or something like that.
Or if you're an old person like me, a browser.
Yeah, which I think you can do that now. But off-platform means you could be on a non-Roku device,
right?
A non-Roku TV streaming device, particularly. Disney Plus said it's going to add vertical videos to its app sometime this year. That's not a surprise because they have the whole partnership with OpenAI, with Sora. So that was going to happen. And I thought this was interesting. Out of every movie theater in the US and Canada, AMC Burbank 30 had the most lucrative box office in 2025. So there you go. All you have to do is operate your theater in the place where all the content is made, and you'll do great. They have horrible parking garages at the Burbank 30. I can tell you right now, doesn't stop people from going to see movies there.
So I assume that lucrative label means total gross, because for a second I thought it was most profitable, which all of a sudden the idea of like movie theater running simulator sounded like a really fun game. It's like you pick
most profitable, by the way. LA Times says AMC Burbank, country's most profitable theater.
Okay. Well, then in that case, then that means that they made sure that they were fully saturated with all the winners at all times.
Here's what I will tell you. Their parking is horrible, but they have a statue of Batman outside. So that cheers you back up. And then when you get inside, you can get concessions. They have excellent line management. So you want to make your theater profitable? Make it easy for people to buy your stupid food. That's where you make all your money anyway.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, IMAX closing out 2025 with $1.28 billion, up 40%. Its best year ever. Clearly, IMAX thinks, and I kind of believe it might be true, that it is the future of theaters. That, yes, you can go to a theater and see a movie and it's a different experience and it's fun and that's worthwhile. You can't see IMAX in your house. That is an experience that you can't replicate.
Yeah, and I'll back that play. I can't imagine that Fantastic Four would have been nearly as good not seeing it on a very, very big screen in IMAX.
Yeah. And we've gotten rid of Limax. There are I don't know that there's any of those theaters around anymore that are just the aspect ratio and none of the rest of IMAX. If it says IMAX, it's pretty much IMAX. Apple Senior VP of Services Eddie Q posted a note Monday announcing that Apple services broke records in 2025, and we're talking about it on this show because he mentioned that hours viewed for Apple TV were up 36% on the year in December, largely because of Pluribus.
I was about to say, wow, you can attribute almost all of that just to one very savvy investment.
And then this last little note I found interesting. Digital Eye has been auditing how many users the different platforms have independently of what the platforms themselves say. It shows that Netflix's ad tier rose from being 26% of Netflix's subscribers to 40% of its subscribers in the past 12 months. So the ad tier, the one that everybody's like, why would you pay for ads? Almost half of Netflix's users are now paying for ads. They're just paying less. That's 190 million users. Amazon Prime Video, however, has 82% of its users on the ad tier, total of 315 million users, but that is down from 88% last year. Of course, the big difference here is Netflix left everybody on their tier and said, we now have a cheaper tier that has ads. Would you like to switch to it? That's your choice. 40% have now switched to that or signed up for it. Amazon just said, hey, everybody who gets this, you now have ads. If you don't want the ads anymore, you got to take action. And 18% have taken action.
Yeah. Do you think that I assume that Netflix is not in the business of disclosing those numbers specifically because to outside eyes, it looks like that's an indicator of some price sensitivity for Netflix's more expensive tier.
Netflix has issued lots of numbers around its ad tiers. I think it's in its best interest to say to people in the advertising industry, we've got a big audience on our ad tier. The story here isn't that it's an independent company did this. The story is like independent company went and looked. So if you don't believe what Netflix says, these might be another double check on that. It's not so much that Netflix won't tell you. It's like, this is just somebody, it's like Nielsen ratings versus Netflix streams. They're both worthwhile numbers depending on what you're talking about. So to me, it was more just the idea that Netflix, I feel like it's surprising that Netflix has gotten 40% of its audience to switch to the ad tier. It's shocking that only 18% of Amazon have switched off the ads. And it just shows convenience trumps fidelity.
Yep.
If I have to take an action to do it, if it saves me money, I'll take the action. If it costs me money, I might not.
Yep.
All right, let's move on to the chatter. Got mail. So Adam in San Diego has written to us before about why he likes cable. If I can sum up for Adam, it's that you can watch a show the same day it airs, but not live. His example is Survivor. Doesn't want to watch it right when it airs, but does want to watch it that same evening. And if you go with streaming, you have to wait till the next day for it to show up on streaming. Most of the time, that isn't true anymore, but with Survivor, it is. And with many shows, it is. So Adam wrote back to say, my concern about YouTube getting the Oscar streaming rights is this. There might not be the ability to have a buffer like we can with cable, and our only option might be to watch all 3 hours live or wait until much later and be spoiled. I think this is a valid concern. More and more shows are showing up on streaming exactly the same time they air, but not all of them. I do hope, this is a hope, not a knowledge, that YouTube does with the Oscars what it will do with a lot of its live content, which is allow you to start from the beginning and fast forward, no matter where it is in the particular airing of it. They might not allow you to fast forward. They might not allow you to start over from the beginning, but they could do one or both of those things. They have the technology for it. So it's just a policy. They definitely will let you start it as soon as it's done. And I think it's pretty likely they'll let you start from the beginning. They might not let you fast forward.
Although I do think that he points out a really good sweet spot of there's a cultural need for those everybody on the same page at the same time moments. And if there was one good thing about when everybody was on Twitter, it was that sense of all of us texting each other during those live premieres of cultural touchstone moments. Yeah.
And you could still do that. That will still be part of this.
Sure. But the ability to also skip the ads during those times.
Yeah. Finally, Keith says, hello, Cordkillers. I wanted to share a few thoughts regarding your discussion on direct subscriptions versus add-ons. I recently subscribed to Apple TV through Amazon and discovered a notable drawback. I was unable to use external tracking services to scrabble my viewing history because I don't have a direct Apple TV login. I can't authenticate with third-party apps that track which episodes I've watched and what comes next. So pausing there because he has another topic here. I looked into Tracked, and they will let you scrabble Amazon. So you may have tried this and it didn't work, but if you're getting Apple TV through Amazon, you could be able to scrabble from Amazon into Tracked and have your Apple TV stuff show up. You just have to watch Apple TV through the Amazon app for that to work. If you're logging into Apple TV's app separately, then yes, that might not work because you can't authenticate, but it might be able to track your add-ons. I haven't tried it though. Then Keith says, additionally, regarding your CES discussion, I was surprised Brian wasn't more excited about the potential for LLMs to fulfill his longstanding request for seamless content navigation. While not fully demonstrated yet, Gemini on Google TV suggests we are closer than ever to simply asking the TV, play the next episode of that show where aliens have taken over humanity by the guy that did Breaking Bad and having it play. Brian, why aren't you more excited?
Well, the truth is I've already experienced the giddy excitement when I saw the possibility of it. And now we're just in the lull where I'm faced with the reality of where we're at. And anybody who's done any vibe coding with an LLM understands that mirage of it being so close, it's about to start getting it right, becomes quite agonizing. So for
becomes
now,
like checking the watch. And when will that be exactly?
Yeah,
I know it's coming, but
for now, I am being precious with my celebratory chits.
Gotcha. Thank you, everybody, for subscribing to the show, for writing into the show. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. And if you want to watch us live, we are live on twitch.tv/Night Attack and youtube.com/Modern Rogue. You can catch us Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.